Now we've mentioned that methods are basically just executable code that we can use to manipulate the state of our object, right, and perform operations. Basically, each method has a name. Now the rules for creating method names are the same as they were with variables. One of the things we normally do from a stylistic standpoint, though, is use a verb or some kind of action statement to name our methods. Now methods have a return type, and in Java there's always a return type. So if a method doesn't return anything, then that return type is void. And then the method can have parameters. And so parameters start with a parenthesis after the method name. You then list the parameters, close the parenthesis. And then the body of the method is enclosed in brackets with however many statements it takes to build your method. Now note that these brackets are not a statement block, right? They're always required. Even if your method only had one statement, that statement goes inside of brackets in a method. All right, so to see an example, let's create a really simple method here, and we'll have it not return any value, so we'll make it a void method. And let's say we'll call this guy showSum. And let's say what we want this method to do is maybe take two floating point values, add them up, and then it'll print out that value multiple times. So it'll be three parameters here. Right, so we have our open paren. So let's have a float x, a comma to separate it from the next parameter, a float y, a comma to separate it from the next parameter, and then an int count. So the idea is that we'll add x to y and then print that result out, count number of times. So we'll close the parentheses. We'll then put our brackets in place for the body, and then we'll do the work. Right, so we'll add x plus y to get sum. We'll create a loop that counts from 0 and incrementing I each time as long as it's less than count, and then prints that value out. So now when it comes time to use this method, the first thing we want to do is let's go ahead and just wrap it up inside of a class, because all methods are inside of classes. We'll go ahead and make our method public so we can access it. And then put together some code that will first create an instance of our object. And then we're going to say object instance name, which is m.showSum, right, calling the method. And we're going to pass in 7.5, 1.4, and 3. Right? So the 7.5 will go into x, the 1.4 goes into y, and the 3 goes into count. Right? So what would happen then is that sum will become 7.5 plus 1.4, 8.9. Then we're going to go inside of our loop and print that out 3 times. So we would see 8.9 printed out 3 times.